Hi, welcome. This is Jackie Cambridge. Welcome to one of our Take 5 Minutes for Health and Safety videos. In this video, we're going to have a look at ladders and ladder safety, an everyday piece of equipment, but if not used correctly, can lead to very, very serious accidents. In terms of ladders, we have several pieces of legislation that cover ladders, but the main one is the work at height regulations. Contrary to popular belief, the work at height regs don't ban ladders. There's no national ban on ladders on construction sites, etc. Sometimes a ladder may not always be the best piece of equipment to carry out any work at height. The work at height regulations, they give us a hierarchy of control to either eliminate or avoid working at height. But the other thing that they say is if you're going to use a piece of equipment to enable you to work at height, it must be suitable. And in some cases, a ladder might be suitable if the work is going to be of short duration. We're not going to be needing to use both of our hands, etc. The working environment is safe. But equally, in some, a ladder is not going to be suitable for every single work at height task. So if we do specify that someone needs to use a ladder, they need to have adequate training and information to be able to decide, yeah, I can use a ladder, this is the right type of ladder, and how am I going to use it correctly? Here we've got a few examples. So it's a simple piece of kit. We'll just look at here. So it could be there's something actually wrong with the ladder, which could cause us to have an accident. So here you can see the rungs are missing or damaged. Sometimes it might be there's nothing actually wrong with the ladder, but it's where it's located. So locating it on the top of a vehicle is not one of the best decisions ever made. It could equally be that we are using a ladder, but it's not suitable for that activity. We've got a reasonably new standard on ladders. We used to have 3 different standards in the UK, but since January 2018, we've got a new standard where we've just got 2. Basically, we've got one standard for professional, i.e. use in the workplace, and one standard for non-professional. You can still use old ladders to the old standards, but if you buy a new one today, we would expect it to be one of these 2 standards, either professional if we're going to use it in the workplace, or non-professional. You'll see the symbols. If it's a non-professional ladder, you'll see the British Standard kite mark, and it will be in red, or it have a red box or orange box, as you can see here. If it's the professional one, it would be. Even though the UK has now left the European Union, the standard that we're adopting for ladders is the same because it's a British standard as well as a European standard. So it's not going to change in view of Brexit. And the new standards, when they were adopted, some of the tests that were carried out on the different types of ladders in terms of the height, the weight that they could take, the potential strength and integrity, resistance to rust, etc. All of those were upgraded. So in the new standards are more vigorous than the old standards that we used to have. So in terms of a ladder, if we have chosen a ladder and we've got a task that's safe to do, it's important that that ladder has a pre-use check. And this is a visual check for any obvious defects or defects that are going to affect its function. It's by the user of the ladder right there and then, and it should be completed every day that the ladder is being used, or every task if it's being used by different people. There's no legal requirement to record this visual check. You may wish to have people recording it, but we need to make sure that people are trained and that they actually carry it out. So you might do a pre-use check, but then have a more formal inspection, maybe once every 6 months, once a year, etc., or even more often if they're used on construction sites. But it is important that the pre-use checks are part of the training that are given to users, and we check to make sure they are actually being done. If the pre-use check is carried out correctly, it should mean, right, this ladder is safe for me to use now. The ladder is fine, but we still need to make sure it's suitable for the task and there's no environmental issues. So in terms of why do ladders need a pre-use check, inspections or maintenance? I'm just going to show you a few pictures, and all of these ladders were in use when these photos were taken. So just have a quick look. So you've got here damaged end pieces there, clearly signs of damage where it had been leaning on the pipe. You can see dents and indentations, which would be weakening the metal, which means it might collapse. Got damaged rungs there, you can see. So not only is that weakened and damaged, but if you stand on it you could actually, your foot could slip off. Damaged top there. Looks like it's twisted, and that would have weakened the metal. One that is completely bowed, so if you walked up that one, it could quite easily collapse under you. If the ladder or step ladder is on the ground, it should actually have rubber or vinyl feet, because that distributes the weight and then gives it better grip. But here, some of the feet have been removed or they've been lost, so it's not going to be as stable once you actually start moving up it. Step ladders or adjustable ladders, looking for any missing parts, any loose screws and things like that. Damage to the steps or platforms on either a step ladder or a ladder. Here you've got, again, one of the bars there on the supports of the step ladder is bowed, which again, if you were standing on it, depending on the weight distribution, it's weakened and it could just give way. So a variety of things that you could quite easily spot if you just took 5 minutes to carry out a pre-use check of a ladder or step ladder before you use it. Wooden ladders should also be inspected just in the same way. We don't want wooden ladders to be painted, and equally looking at all of the sections there to make sure that everything is tight and in place correctly, and then whether that's a ladder or a step ladder. There's a variety of guidance available from the Health and Safety Executive, some guides for employers, tips for ladder use, and there's even some training sessions that you can take and adjust and amend to actually train your staff. So work at height, it doesn't stop us using a ladder, but if we are using a ladder, let's make sure it's suitable for the task, the environment is suitable as well, and the person using that ladder is fully trained so they know how to use it safely and prevent an accident and injury to themselves and anybody else in the near vicinity. Thanks very much for taking 5 minutes to think about ladder safety. This is Jackie Cambridge from Cambridge Safety. Thanks for watching.